In games with attacks, we usually want the damage to be applied when that projectile makes impact, or when that melee hit would actually hit the target. Doing this, however, can be a little bit tricky. Between synchronizing the animations, the player or the enemy AI behavior, and applying the damage at the right time can get a little bit complicated. When you first get started with this, you may kick off an animation, spawn a projectile, and apply damage all in the same frame. Which for like a game jam game or really fast moving projectiles, that may be okay, but it can break immersion when we have like a wind up before we start attacking or slower moving projectiles, because we can obviously tell the damage and that animation are not synchronized. In this video, we're going to walk through the problem solving process of implementing this, where we can synchronize that animation, a projectile, and damage application, as I did it in the free and open source microgame Dino Attack. Yes, you can play the full free game on itch and download the full free project on GitHub. A special thank you to Polyperfect, who provided all of the art assets for free under an educational use only license. Hey, Chris here from LlamAcademy, here to help you. Who? Me? Yes, you! Make your game dev dream become a reality by helping you build more immersive games. Now, we've already talked about the simplest approach. Quick, easy, dirty, it works. Kind of. As long as the player's unlikely to notice that it's not exactly aligned because it's too fast moving projectiles or whatever, that works okay. In Dino Attack, we have archers and mages, both of which have a wind-up animation before they launch their projectile, and the projectile is not extremely fast moving. By the way, the same problem persists on melee, where we have like the Pachycephalosaurus. It moves its head back and then pushes forward, and really we want to apply the damage when that head goes forward, not when he's going backwards. Now in Dino Attack, I'm using Unity behavior for all of the enemy and Dino AI. That means that I wanted to encapsulate the entire attack behavior within a single Unity behavior action node. Then I can just plop it on for each unit whenever they need to attack, make sure they have all the data required, and a new unit can attack. It makes it very easy. If you want to learn more about Unity behavior, which is Unity's first-party behavior tree solution, I've got a link in the description to a playlist where I cover all the core concepts that you need to know to get started. What I did was I set up an animator with a discrete attacking state, and I would transition out of move or out of idle into this state when I've set the Boolean is attacking to be true. That means in the Unity behavior, I would set the attacking Boolean to true as soon as we entered the node and just turn it off when we exit. It doesn't quite work though, and we'll get into that in just a minute. On update, we would check, hey, has it been long enough? Can I attack now? If so, we would wait a configurable amount of time based on the animation to say, hey, this animation, it takes about 30 frames before we should start spawning our projectile or doing the damage or whatever. And based on the playback speed, we can say, okay, that's gonna be about half a second. So we'd say for the archer, when I go back, okay, we're gonna wait half a second. Then we'll start moving that projectile and lerp it from that start position to where the dinosaur's transform currently is. That gives us a little bit of a curve if the dinosaur's moving, but it makes sure that we make impact with what we are shooting at. And after that move time, so we're doing a fixed time lerp, we can apply the damage, and we know we've moved to the very end, so now the projectile's there and it's gonna look right. They did damage when that arrow or that fireball made impact. For the dinosaurs, we just get rid of the projectile moving thing and we just wait an additional X number of seconds and then immediately apply that damage. No lerping is needed if there's no projectile. So from a code perspective, this looks really clean. We enter, we say we're attacking, we do the logic, on end we clean up. Great. The problem that we run into is updates are not a continuous stream of updates, right? We get frames or snapshots that have a variable amount of time in between them. So if we're waiting half a second like what we said earlier, maybe it was 0.55 seconds before we actually executed the update to say spawn the projectile and start moving it. You can then maybe infer where we're going with this. Over time, our synchronization gets a little bit off and gets more and more off as we loop, which is what happens when we have an animator Boolean triggering our animations. Those are going to play at a pretty consistent pace, but our updates in our code are not actually at all tied to this animation. So that then gives us, okay, this isn't working right, but we need to somehow tie our animation and make sure we don't loop, because the looping is what's getting us into trouble. So what if instead of having an animator Boolean, we convert it to an animator trigger, and we update our animator a little bit to look like this, where we come in from the any state into the attack on the trigger, And with exit time, we move into either the idle or the move depending on the speed. In our code, we just need to remove the animator set bools on start and on end, and add a set trigger on update when we want to trigger the attack. This is more of a code-driven implementation saying our code is going to control when we play the animations and make sure that we're synchronized. Another potential solution is you can use an animation event. On the animation, you can add in events at specific keyframes, and that will call a piece of code that you have. So we could say on a mono behavior attached to the same script that has the animator, hey, listen when this animator gives you the on start attack callback. You can name it whatever you want. Then say, hey, spawn the projectile and do all this kind of stuff. There are some people who've said that they have some trouble with the animation events where if you have like low frame rates, it may skip the event. I haven't personally run into this before. I chose this approach for a couple reasons. Not as much because of the potential issue with the low frame rate. I haven't run into that problem, but I like that I could have the fully encapsulated attack behavior in the Unity behavior system. I didn't have to have an additional mono behavior to listen for the event and then somehow pipe it into the behavior system. This was just a little bit cleaner for me. And two, I haven't ever tried it this way before. I usually use the animation event, so I thought it'd be fun to try something new. And if I look at the two, I think I really prefer this option I landed on. Now, if you've gotten value out of this video, consider using the affiliate links in the description to purchase the Dino Attack or the Ultimate Pack from Polyperfect. Remember, these assets are provided in the GitHub repository under an educational use only license, meaning you cannot use them in your game unless you purchase them first. Purchasing them shows your support for this channel, this project, and Polyperfect, a triple win. And if you're interested in making these top-down style RTS-like games, you can check out my Unity RTS course with over 25 hours of video content. Put a ton of time into making this course so you can learn how to make your very own RTS game, which are one of my personal favorite types of games. Other ways you can show your support for the channel are get yourself some LlamAcademy merch right here on YouTube. You can become a YouTube member or Patreon supporter. Both of those will get your name up here on the screen at the end of every video, as well as your name in every single GitHub repository that comes out as long as you're a supporter. You'll get access to a private members exclusive Discord, and starting at the awesome tier, you'll get a shout out like these awesome folks: Ivan, Iphiobulus, Jason Hansen, Snedden, Will B, Mustafa, Nick5454, and Pixel Wizards. There's also all of these great supporters as well. Thank you all for your support, and I'll see you on the next video.